Hello everyone, welcome in to episode 11 of the AshBros Video Games Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. Or if you haven't joined us before, then welcome along. Thank you for joining us on this journey. With me is my lovely, wonderful co-host, long-time friend, Ash Bacario Baker. You alright, mate?
Ash Bacario Baker, that is me. Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm alright, mate. Yeah, that actually reminds me, today I was, because, well, obviously your alter ego is Bacario,
Of course.
those who don't know. I was recording a video today, and because you're one of the very few people who I've set as favourite on Xbox, it'll flash
Fantastic.
up whenever you come online. So I was recording a video, and as I'm explaining, the role of an overlapping centre-back, all of a sudden it flashes up just across the screen. Bacario is now online.
Love that. It's great. Always a pleasure to get a feature on Brom 18.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're not famous for this podcast, you'll at least be famous for that.
Exactly. Here's hoping.
So there is that, yeah. You good? You good?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. I'm ready to get stuck in. Got some good stuff to talk about today.
Yes, we certainly do. For all of you listening or watching on the YouTube, today we are going to talk about some indie games, because our recent episode we talked about our most anticipated games of 2023, but really we covered kind of the big releases. We looked at Starfield, we looked at Hogwarts Legacy, didn't we?
The big hitters.
Yeah, and I really kind of got, seduced by the idea of kind of moving on to the indie games, because what we do, or really Ash is the one who should be credited for this, is whenever we suggest something that should be played, or we talk about what we've been playing this week, usually it is revolving around an indie game, isn't it?
Yeah, often, yeah.
So I just thought that'd be cool. So we've got a couple that we've kind of honed in on. So we're going to talk about that. We'll do higher or lower, which is my favourite segment of the podcast. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we'll explain that very shortly, but I will put forward a game, and Ash has to guess whether the next 5 games sold more or fewer copies than that game. Don't worry, it's not as complicated as I make it sound. We'll also suggest one game that you guys should play. Each week we'd like to suggest a game that we think you should try out if you haven't done so already. So we've got that for you, and we'll also talk about what we've been playing. Before we get into the meat of the podcast, do not forget, if you are listening on any of your regular podcasting apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, what else are they on? Google Podcasts, there's a whole, they're on tons, absolutely loads. Remember to rate and review the podcast, because that is the best way that you can help us surge up those rankings. I haven't checked if we're still number 1 in Ghana.
I know. I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, are we still number 1?
I haven't checked for the last couple of weeks, actually. So, I don't know.
Hopefully our fans are staying loyal.
Oh, well, exactly, yeah. If we're still reigning champions in Ghana, we'll take that. I mean, it's a free route into the Champions League, isn't it? So
Exactly.
So we'll take that all day long. So yeah, as we say, make sure to rate and review us. That's a huge help. Best way to support the podcast outside of obviously listening to it. So we really appreciate that. And also check us out on any of your regular social platforms. If you're watching this on YouTube, check us out on all the podcasting apps. The links will be down below in the description. If you're listening to us, check us out on YouTube. You'll find us, the AshBros Gaming Podcast, where we kind of upload clips, really, of all the episodes. And then also, you'll find the full episodes, video versions, on my YouTube channel, which is Brommer18. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. That is AshBros Gaming Podcast. And yeah, I think with that being said,
You're getting good at that.
I know, yeah. Years of experience. Like I say, it's just remembering to switch out like and subscribe with rate and review.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
getting into this podcast mindset.
Right. Higher or lower? Our
Let's go.
favourite segment of the podcast. This week, we are talking about Elden Ring.
Okay. Something I played.
Yes.
Massive game last year.
You've spoken about it often on the show.
Yep.
For those of you who are new to the podcast, this segment, I'll suggest a game. So in this case, it's Elden Ring. Then, the next 5 games that I mention, Ash has to guess whether they sold more or fewer copies than Elden Ring. So, you'll get the gist of it as we go through.
Play along at home.
Yes, can you get 5 out of 5? We encourage you guys to play.
And if not, can you at least beat me?
Yeah, that's really the goal, isn't it? I think I seem to remember in the last episode you struggled a little bit.
I think I got 3 or something, like an average score.
Was it 3?
Not terrible, not great.
I can't remember now, annoyingly. This week, we start off with Red Dead Redemption 1.
Okay.
The original.
1, yes. So that was my first question, yeah.
Did it sell
1 or
more
2.
or fewer copies than Elden Ring?
So, Elden Ring, massive game last year. So, the newer gaming's grown. However, it hasn't had the time the Red Dead Redemption 1 has to sell copies. But I'm going to stick with Elden Ring for this one.
Wow, so you think Elden Ring sold more copies than Red Dead?
I do. I'm going to go with that.
You're right. You are correct.
Fantastic. Good start.
And I'm going to say, I was stunned by this. I thought Red Dead would have smashed it.
Yeah, so I think Red Dead Redemption 2 was huge. And I think the fact that was so big, it kind of clouds your memory of how big Red Dead Redemption 1 was back in the day. Because it wasn't actually a massive game.
That's actually a decent point, that is, yeah.
But yeah, it's a fantastic game, though, still. I mean, remaster sometime?
That would be nice.
I'll play that.
If they could even remaster 2 for the next gen for the current gen consoles, that would be nice, you know.
Oh wow. I mean, yeah, that was a stunning game when it came out anyway, and if they could remaster that, holy.
Yeah, into the 4K,
Holy
60
moly.
FPS, you know.
Can you imagine? Yeah, that would be breathtaking, man.
So,
Wow.
that's 1 for 1. Next up on the
Good
list.
100% record. Should we end here?
You wish, my friend. You'll only get tougher. Next up, we have Civilization 6.
Civ 6, one of my favourite series. I've got to stick with Civ 6. Just a massive series. Rocking on the back of Civ 5, which was a massive game. Yeah, I've got to stick with Civ 6, getting more time as well to sell copies. Got to go with Civ 6.
So you think Civ 6 sold more copies than Elden Ring?
I do.
Well, that 100% record is gone.
Really?
Correct.
Wow, this is just going to show how well Elden Ring did, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was stunned about this as well.
That is not me for 6, that is. Wow.
I know. I've not really got anything to explain why that happened. Really, like I say, I thought Civ 6 would have sold more.
Civ 6 is massive.
Yeah, huge.
Such an OG series. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, wow. I do remember when Elden Ring first came out. It was all I could see on social media. Like it was just everywhere. Yeah. You couldn't get away from it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was mad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anymore. These last 3 are going to be a shot in the dark. I thought that was a banker.
Let's see, shall we? Because the next one is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
So, this is such a tricky one because I stopped playing the Assassin's Creed games like early on. Really, Black Flag was the last one I played.
Yep,
I think. But I know that Odyssey did really well. I'm going to stick with Elden Ring.
Well, you're correct, mate. You're correct, my friend.
Okay.
That's 2-1.
2-1. Another tricky one next.
Yeah, it sold a fair amount more, to be fair.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey was a massive Assassin's Creed game, wasn't it?
Yeah. One of the... It could have been the highest selling, actually. I might be wrong there.
I think you might be right there or thereabouts for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I should let listeners know, by the way, we use VG charts for
source,
these figures, and I do just every single one. I do just do a quick Google search to reinforce all the figures I see, just to
we
back
do
it up.
have Bromma18 as a fact check.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so bear in mind. So 2-1 currently. Red Dead sold fewer. Civilization 6 sold fewer. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey sold fewer copies.
Seeing a trend here.
But will that continue? Next on the list is The Sims 3.
Sims 3. So, Sims, it's one of those games that's kind of more of a universal genre. Like, it's the type of game my sister plays, you know.
Yep.
That and Animal Crossing. Like, she's not a hardcore gamer. She doesn't play Elden Ring, you know. She doesn't play Civ, but she plays The Sims. Sims, obviously, if you're a gamer and you don't know what The Sims is, you're not a gamer. Sort your life out, honestly. Sort your life out. Sims 3, better than... Well, I'm making claims here randomly. Sims 3 better than Sims 4, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say Sims 3 sold more than Elden Ring. I'm going to go confident.
Oh, it sold fewer, mate. It sold
really?
fewer.
Oh, mate, this is mad.
Sold fewer, yeah. Considering it's got 10 plus years on it as well.
Literally, everyone plays The Sims. Everyone.
Don't know, really. I mean, I of people I know, me, you, and Emily play it.
Yeah.
And that might be it.
But we're friends with like more hardcore games. But I don't know. I just felt like the audience of The Sims is
more wide, more yeah, more casual.
Wow, this is really impressive. Mad.
I mean,
mad.
Elden Ring, like you say, cracked it. You know,
massive game in the modern era of gaming.
Yeah,
it took the gaming scene by storm.
Yeah, literally, but not me though.
Not you.
No. Right, so it's 2-2. Is it? You did get 2 right, didn't you?
I got I got Red Dead right. I got Assassin's Creed right.
Right, okay. So it's 2-2.
I put faith in Civ and The Sims. Never again.
Yeah. So you need this one to
get back.
Well, yeah, basically get that C rating. So, did Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare sell more or fewer copies than Elden Ring?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So that was like the first big Call of Duty game, wasn't it?
Yeah. The first one with multiplayer. I do believe.
And it's obviously had so many years on Elden Ring.
So I should also clarify. I'm not including the remaster because they did release a remaster. Yeah.
I assume that.
That isn't included.
Okay. Gonna say Elden Ring sold more.
Well, you are correct.
Wow.
You are correct.
Okay. So yeah, takeaway message: Elden Ring absolutely smashed it.
Yes.
Did not realise they smashed it quite so much.
Every game on this list sold fewer copies.
I saw that, yeah.
If any of you try and look for trends in these answers, you won't find them. Because anything can happen. Anything. So, yeah. 3-2. What your thoughts? What's your verdict on that?
Please, as I say, mate, just
shocked more than anything.
Of course, shocked more than anything. Yeah, Civ let me down. Sims let me down. 2 massive franchises. I mean, Sims 3. Both of them have had years and years on Elden Ring as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing that was most shocking to me. The fact that a lot of them have been out for quite a few years. I thought that would be like, the thing that would do it, but. Yeah, crazy. It's just killed it. It's just killed it. Can you imagine when they make a sequel? Everyone's going to lose their minds.
Literally. It's just insane. And the thing is, like, the type of game Elden Ring is, it's like a hardcore game.
Yeah.
And it amazes me that it attracted so many customers, really.
I mean, it makes you wonder how many people kind of picked it up and after like an hour or two couple of hours, put it down, and didn't continue.
Yeah. It's really hard. I can deal with it.
Yeah.
I can deal with it.
Yeah.
But it was a super good experience, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I don't know, it's I thought it's quite a niche genre, like the really unforgiving type of game.
It is, isn't it?
It's just really
Something
impressive.
caught fire.
100%, yeah. 100%.
So yeah.
I guess that there wasn't a massive release like Dark Souls 3. There wasn't a game made like that. I mean, Dark Souls was on its own in like their own little genre, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then they had this Elden Ring release.
Until now.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that just sort of blew up because of that, because there was a gap in the market, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, 3 out of 5 in the end. You do get a pass, but a little bit disappointed. Viewers, listeners at home,
how did you get on? Leave a comment.
Yeah, let us know.
I want to know.
Leave a comment on the YouTube video. Get at us on Twitter with AshBros Podcast. And and if you got any suggestions for games that you'd like us to cover in this section, that'd be great as well.
Absolutely. We're always wanting to hear more from you.
Absolutely.
Always. You can't tell us enough.
No. So, in to the main meat of today's podcast episode.
Let's get stuck in.
We want to talk about our most anticipated indie games upcoming for 2023. Now, one of these does have an asterisk by them because it does not yet have a release date, but my wishful thinking has made it. Oh, well, basically, I'll put it into my head that this will be released in 2023, but it might not. So, yeah, we've got a couple of games to go through. First things first, quickly want to mention that in the previous episode, we did talk about The Wolf Among Us 2 and Company of Heroes. I guess you could say they're both indie games, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. They're not mainstream, are they?
No. And the companies, like Wolf Among Us 2, I can't remember who's doing it now, but it's not Telltale anymore, because obviously it's a company, it's a company who've kind of reborn from the ashes, basically.
Yeah, So exciting.
Yeah,
it's exciting when...
but we mentioned them. We spoke about them in the podcast, in the most recent episode of the podcast. So if any of you haven't listened to that one, go and check it out.
And listen.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? So yeah, just a quick mention in case you feel like we've missed them out. So the first game we want to talk about is a game called Undisputed. Now, this one has actually had a name change. Up until about a year ago, it was going to be known as Esports Boxing Club. And they changed it to Undisputed, and I'll say that is a much better name.
I was going to say, it's much more catchy, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Esports Boxing Club doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it?
Not really. No.
Now, I'll say this is something I'm really, really excited for. Obviously, a huge boxing fan. I know you're not into it as much, Ash.
No, but I took a quick look and it looks like a really interesting game. I definitely had it on my wish list.
Yeah.
Nice fighting game.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. So for those of you who don't know about it, of course, a boxing video game by a company called Steel City Interactive. They're a brand new games developer. This will be their first game. It's been funded. I don't know how it's been funded, but it's got some very generous backers, basically. Who have got a lot of faith in this project, quite clearly, because they have thrown some money at this, which we'll talk about shortly. The big thing about this is that, boxing fans, myself included, we have been just kind of begging, chomping at the bit for just a proper boxing game for years. We haven't had it since Fight Night Champion, an EA franchise. And as me and you spoke about, Ash, in one of the recent podcasts, if there's many franchises, they'll just put on the shelf and that'll be it.
Yep.
So
cash in, go out. Yep.
Yeah. So that's been one of them. And people have been desperate for that, for them to 2K someone like that to come in and do a boxing game again, and it's not happened. So in comes Steel City Interactive, independent developer. As I say, huge investments, because one of the issues that EA have said with making a boxing game is because you've got so many different boxers. It's the licensing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like the money it will cost basically to get the licenses for fighters. Each one, obviously, they dictate their own fees. Basically, it's not like you can just kind of go
Slap
to
someone's face on and just
yeah. Like so, say for example, with FIFA, like they could go to the Premier League and get all those teams in the league just from working with the league, basically the Premier League. Whereas obviously with boxers and stuff, you've got kind of hundreds of thousands across the world and all that thing.
all negotiating their own deals.
Yeah, literally. So by all accounts, it's a huge issue, but they're backing it. They're backing it. They've got just a tremendous roster of fighters. It's probably going to be the biggest roster you'll have ever seen in a boxing game. And they're all fully face scanned, look absolutely superb. Some of the body scans. In fact, that's their main marketing campaign. To be honest, each day they're tweeting like, "Look, we've got this boxer in the game, and it's full face scans and stuff, and the body scans." And yeah, they look tremendous. Look absolutely tremendous. Now we are currently recording this on the 30th of January, 2023. Aren't we?
When does it release?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes. Now, obviously,
so when
this
you're listening
by
to
the time this podcast is out, it will be out. Or sorry, we should rephrase. The early access beta for Steam will be out. It's not going to be available on consoles in early access, not until it's fully released. But it is coming to consoles. So for those of you who are PC gamers, then you might be in luck. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. Really excited, I think.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like the user feedback, right, and see what the reviews are saying.
Well, this is what it's going to be, isn't it? Because we're going to get very early indications from these kind of early access playtests. They did actually do like an alpha, a multiplayer demo for like a weekend. Or they did a couple of weekends where people could go on and play multiplayer, and it didn't go well at all.
Oh no, okay.
That was a few months ago now. That was back in like I think maybe like September, October. And it didn't go well. I didn't actually get the chance to play in it, which I was a little bit disappointed about. But yeah, it didn't go out. It was also very limited. There was only it was only available for like 3 hours on a night or whatever. So
okay.
Yeah, that was strange. But yeah, so we'll see. This early access is going to be the real kind of first test, isn't it?
Yeah. Gotta say, for first time publisher, it looks super impressive.
Well, this is it, isn't it? It's
insane. Yeah, the graphics look insane. The fact that they've got managed to get the license for all these boxes, insane.
Yeah.
But it's always unpredictable when you've got a company like that. You've got nothing to go on.
Yeah, exactly. So we have no idea.
Yeah.
The lack of information is also a little bit alarming. We've had no confirmation on any game modes, a career mode, nothing. Absolutely nothing, which I think is weird, considering the early access is out tomorrow as of recording this. Like I said earlier, their marketing is just every day. It's like, oh, look, this fighter's in the game, this fighter's in the game, etc., etc. So I find that a bit strange, I'll be honest. Yeah, makes you wonder how quickly development's going. It was actually meant to be out. It might have been last summer, and then one day they just said,
wow.
"Yeah." The one day they just said, "No,
that's not happening.
This is being delayed indefinitely." And then even now, it's only out on early access. It's not a full release. So yeah, it could come out with huge bugs. We don't know, do we?
No, that's the thing. Yeah, it's better to delay than just dish out an unfinished product.
Oh yeah.
We've spoken before about the sort of culture of gaming doing that. So you like to see it, but also it is a bit sort of concerning when this sort of stuff happens.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good one. It's good for obviously for boxing fans. It's
definitely one you must have a look at.
Yeah, for sure. Any kind.
Yeah.
I think this is the sort of thing that even just general sports fans more like, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
particularly if there's that kind of career mode. Obviously, like I said, there's no confirmation of game modes, but if you've got that sort of thing in, that's what people are gonna really dig. You know what I mean?
I'd love that. Yeah, starting off in like a warehouse, working your way up,
Yeah. But
eventually to the world title.
precisely that, yeah. Like even people who aren't into boxing can get behind that because it's just that progression, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
you say, like,
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, I could see you doing that if that was the sort of thing.
100%.
So
It's on my wish list.
well, there you go. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Like I say, I'm going to keep an eye on the early access. I think actually I've not mentioned this to you, Ash, but just kind of had the thought now. In the next episode of the podcast, we should look back at the kind of early reviews that are coming in.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely do that. Definitely
See what's going on. So
when the dust has settled.
yeah. For those of you listeners, any of you who are kind of looking at Undisputed, keeping track of it, looking forward to it, let us know by all the usual means of communication.
Thoughts?
Yeah. And we really appreciate that. So, next on the list, Haunted Chocolatier. Now, there's an asterisk by this one in our notes.
Yes.
Because we don't know for sure whether it's coming out in 2023 or not. There is no release date. But for those of you who don't know what it is, the maker of Stardew Valley, Eric Barone, he's making another game. Basically, obviously, Stardew Valley is his first and only game up to this point. He's making it, for those of you who don't know, Stardew Valley was where you kind of, your character moves out into the countryside, little town, and inherits his granddad's farm. And you basically have to develop the farm, build it up from a kind of rotting corpse, basically. Yeah. But it's not just about the farm, and it's also about you kind of interact with the kind of villagers and stuff. You can get married and have kids.
It's got a lot of depth.
Yeah. A huge amount of depth for what it is. It's not just a farming simulator. And he's basically making another game which sounds like a spin-off from that, really, where rather than being a farmer, you run your own chocolate factory and you make chocolate. Of course, there's going to be a whole lot more to it than that. But first things first, because I've done a lot of talking, I'm going to throw it over to you, Ash. I want to know kind of, you told me before, like you played a bit of Stardew Valley. What was kind of like the extent of how much you'd played of that?
Yeah, so I sort of gave it a good go. Takeaways from it, definitely just like the main thing, we've spoken before about Stardew Valley a bit, but just the vibe, relaxing, whether it's the music and the art style combined.
Positive uplifting.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a unique vibe of game, I think, where you can just completely chill out, just do, you wake up, you do, your daily routine of doing the crops, wander into town, have a chats with people. It's just like a really chilled out, good time. And I mean, that was made by Eric Barone alone, right?
Yeah. Just him.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is a phenomenal job. So he's clearly talented.
Yeah.
Really talented. And the idea of having a chocolate factory is definitely interesting. I like it.
I don't know where he got that idea from.
Yeah. Haunted as well. Like, you got that aspect. Random. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Fine. But I'm like, I reckon this could be definitely something to keep your eye on, 100%.
I mean, another thing about it is we've spoken about this as well in one of the previous episodes, where like it's got that art style, the kind of the 8-bit retro pixel.
It's done really well.
Yeah, but it just goes to show it doesn't need these like incredible 4K ultra realistic graphics to like look nice, does it?
Be enjoyable, yeah, exactly, yeah. 100%.
And it is, by the screenshots that he shared, this is going to be exactly the same kind of art style as we'd come to expect.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it'd be like if he did like make that kind of change, I think people wouldn't like that.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he's got an established art style that he does really well.
Yeah.
Why change? It's a proven formula. Don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, literally. So he's been working on it since 2020. So we're in the third year of the development cycle now. took him 4 years to make Stardew. No, 5 years actually to make Stardew Valley. I think, or was it 4?
So has he? Sorry, has he got a team working with him, or is
No,
he
no, it's
still
just him.
flipping heck? Okay.
So there's actually a really good book. I don't know if I've
Yes, I know
I'll
what you're gonna
try and
say.
get
Yeah.
into really, yeah, by Jason Trier, and he goes through in that first book. He's got a couple. He talks about like a few different games and their development cycles, and he like interviews with the developers and stuff. And one of the chapters is based on Stardew Valley, and he's just interviewing Eric Barone and saying what happens and stuff. And he's talking about how he was just in his house, like his wife was working and he wasn't, because obviously he was building the game. She was like supporting him, they had no money, etc. And he was just in his house all the time. He was like depressed and stuff because he wasn't getting out. And then he was under like immense pressure because it developed a bit of hype for the game and stuff, and it was just him.
Wow.
But he has a little bit of help from. He basically worked with, or what was, it wasn't Concerned Ape. That's it. That's the name of his. But he worked with a publisher. Might be something Fish. Can't remember now. And they're the ones who publish his game. They also helped him with the multiplayer because he said once he released the game, he was sick of it. So they did the multiplayer for him. So whether or not that will be the arrangement again, I don't know.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine how much pressure he's putting on himself if he's doing this on his own.
Oh yeah.
Oh my days.
Which is weird because he's like a multi-millionaire now. I don't know. Maybe like we're all different, aren't we? If I was in that situation, I'd get myself a little office, get a couple of team members. You know?
Yeah, literally. It doesn't have to be a massive. You don't have to turn into some, AA company, but
no, it could be 4 or 5 people. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, just get out of the house, get the team, improve kind of development time, and
spend time with your wife.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I realise we've not actually spoken much about the game itself here, so I do apologise, listeners. But yeah, so instead of being a farmer, you make chocolate, basically. He's done a couple of blog posts on it, and we've had a teaser trailer. So there is some information out there about it. It says it's going to have a much bigger focus on combat. In Stardew Valley, it was very much just slash at the opponent, and that was it. Now you've got kind of defense mechanics and kind of blocking, kind of extra elements of combat in general. It looks like there's going to be elements of ghosts and magic in it as well, hence the haunted bit of Chocolatier.
Yeah.
And generally, my expectations are that he'll take what was good in Stardew Valley and just make them better. And
yeah, I mean that's what you want, right? You don't want him reinventing the wheel here.
No.
Good foundation, and just work on that, improve that, different setting. Yeah. I'm getting Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory vibes.
Literally, that's a good shout. That's a great shout.
I think that could be a banging game. I think that'd be really cool.
100%. That's a really good shout. Really good shout. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether it's just like a reskin or a completely different experience, as you said. Something in the middle is what we're looking for, I guess. So yeah, he's been on it, working on it since 2020. Obviously, it's 2023 now. It took him 4 or 5 years to develop Stardew Valley, but obviously, with this one, he's already got the foundations.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd hope that would
help.
That would help out. Yeah.
Yeah, decrease development time. And I remember in that book that I was speaking about, he said how one day, like a couple of years into the cycle, he just scrapped everything. He just went, "This is a terrible game. I'm starting again."
No way.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. I mean, you'd expect obviously with experience and stuff, as he's just getting better.
Yeah.
Obviously everything will be a bit more streamlined. So we'll wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised to see this year, but we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, keep an eye out. I'll definitely be keep an eye out for this one. Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah. Tuning into that.
Yeah.
Right then. We move on to the next game, and this one is a little bit out there because this one is one that I really do not hear anything of.
I had not heard of it before I saw this.
No. I feel like I might have mentioned it to you before, but I can't remember now. So this one, for listeners and viewers, is actually 3 games in one. and they are called Builders of Greece, Builders of Egypt, and Builders of China. Now, the reason why it's free is because a company who I have never heard of, a new developer called Strategy Labs. There's nothing known about them. I've done a lot of research trying to find things out about them. Other than the fact that they're a Polish developer, I know nothing. Absolutely nothing about them. Brand new, but they're coming in hot with 3 games. Builders of Greece, Builders of Egypt, Builders of China. They all look like the same, except obviously with the reskins. So it's very strange. Dude, it's not something I've ever really seen before.
No, I was gonna say
Yeah, basically what these
of,
games
really.
are, basically real-time strategy, city builders, and management games. You'll obviously have the 3 different eras and aesthetics. So Builders of Greece is the one that I'm looking at. The reason why I found this game in the first place is, as you know, I've got a bit of a thing about ancient Greece, and I was just trying to find kind of any kind of real-time strategy game in that time period. And this is when this kind of came up on Steam, and I saying I added it to my wish list, all set to be released this year. We don't know the exact dates yet, but we know that they are set to come at some point this year. And yeah, it's as I've kind of alluded to, it's really weird. Like, they've got these 3 games ongoing, and
it looks really cool though. Like,
it does,
the
doesn't
idea
it?
of playing through like this these eras. It sounds like there's a tiny bit of story in there as well.
Yeah.
Like, going through the real what happened. It looks like, I'm just looking at some of the screenshots. They've got like choices.
Yep.
Sort of Civ style, where you go into like different specializations, like how you want to build your economy, stuff like that. It looks like really impressive. Obviously, they seem to have nailed the aesthetic of each sort of civilization. It looks really cool.
I know.
Honestly.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? The images look tremendous. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I just think the whole thing's really strange because obviously there's a lot of information. Not seen any articles on them.
So have you played? You haven't played the demo, no?
No. But so it's good job you mentioned that, actually. There is so there's a demo available for Egypt. And last week or the week before, they announced that there was a playtest coming for Builders of Greece, which I applied for, and I haven't. Just before we come onto this podcast, I have installed it. Whether it's actually available to play yet, or if it will just kind of lock me out until it's like up and running, I'm not sure. So I am gonna, when that is available, I'm gonna try that playtest out for Builders of Greece and see what's going on. Yeah, I'll try the demo out available for Builders of Egypt as well. And we'll see. We'll go from there. It's I don't know. Yeah, as you say, they just look really good. The games look really good. It looks like they've got all the elements, as you say, of that kind of real-time strategy, kind of management, building game, choices. It sounds like, again, not a lot of information. So we shall see.
It's. I mean, that is so weird that a new publisher would start out with 3.
Do you know what I mean? This is what I just can't wrap my head around.
One, specialize in it, get income from that, and then use that profit to invest in the others. Surely.
Yeah. It's really weird, isn't it? I just can't. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Anyone else? Any of you listeners? You heard about them? I'd probably not. Like I say, this is something like I'm searching for articles about these games, and they're really rare to come by.
Yeah. Found some good ones there, mate.
Yeah, but this is the sort of game that if it did take, like, if it was to take off, you'd see it on. It would be through like things like Steam, where it was like a new release, and then people are going on it and people are buying it, and then it's getting in good reviews, and all of a sudden it's on the top sellers and the specials, the like newest, hottest new ones, games or whatever, and it would go from there. So we'll see.
The terrain looks really interesting as well. I just want to say, like, usually with city builders, you get like a flat terrain, right?
Yep.
That you can sort of build around. But with this, I mean, it's very much relevant to your location. Like I'm seeing Greece is like very mountainous and like it's on a coast. It's really, I'm really interested to see how they sort of manage that and how they make how they involve the training.
Brilliant
How you build
point.
it looks
It's
really
tremendous point, mate. Because obviously you've got all the different areas, like you've got Attica with Athens, and then you got Laconia with Sparta. So obviously they're all different.
Yeah.
Like with Athens, you're gonna have the Acropolis and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
Egypt, you got the pyramids.
Yeah,
that are massive, by the way. Look really grand, really good.
Huge. Great Wall of China in China.
Indeed.
So there's a lot to this. Yeah, just what I mean. There is a whole gap in the market here. Like I say, I was looking for games that were just kind of real time strategy for things like Greece and even Egypt. So there's not a lot of them.
No.
So there's a gap in the market there.
100%, mate. 100%.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
It's exciting stuff, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One we'll come back to at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it and do some updates.
Yeah, precisely. So next, that rounds us off for kind of the indie games.
Yeah,
that we're looking at.
Good selection, very good selection.
Yep. Like you say, like you mentioned it before the podcast, like generally when you find indie games, it's because they're already out and they've got a little bit of popularity. And you find them, so you don't really know too much about them until they're out there.
Exactly.
Obviously, the hype is less, isn't it? Smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
100%. So yeah, expect there more to come throughout the year for sure. Next up though, we want to move on to the segment of why you should play. Each week, myself and Ash suggest one game that we think you should give a try. Now, this week, I am going to pass it over to my co-host because one, I've done a lot of talking, but two, I've never played this game, but this is his area. So, Ash.
This is my area. Right.
What should we play?
So, the game that I think people should play is Borderlands 3. Fairly dated game now. There must be a Borderlands 4 coming on the way.
Yeah.
But I've never really been into shooters, I'll be honest. Like I've played the Call of Duty, played the Overwatch. I've never really got into them. Not really the multiplayer scene. What Borderlands 3 does is it takes amazing FPS mechanics. It scratches that itch for me. And it puts it into a funny, enjoyable single-player experience. You can play co-op, but it's not really player versus player. And the thing it specializes in is not only like the gameplay of shooting, but also just like the guns are amazing. So it's built in like a futuristic setting, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it is apocalyptic. So there's a lot of like barren waste and stuff. But the guns are futuristic and they've got a lot of cool abilities. You've got the standard like loot system of epic, rare, legendary for those dopamines. When you get a legendary weapon, you're like, oh my days, this is amazing. But not just that, they have like unique abilities. Like, for example, one of the guns that I have at the moment, whenever you reload, you take out the magazine and you chuck it as a grenade at enemies.
Huh.
Like stuff like that. It's got so many little unique elements. Yeah, 100%. It's super enjoyable.
Like what is the actual game? Like, is it a campaign? Is there like multiplayer?
Yeah, it's a campaign. Yeah, it's a campaign. So there's a story, the story behind it. But for me, obviously that's not the focus. It's just like playing through, blowing stuff up, shooting people, using awesome guns, looting. But there is a narrative that you work through, and it's also got a unique like style of narrative as well because it's quite humor driven. Some of the dialogue's like quite funny and tongue in cheek. But yeah, man, like if you haven't tried it, give it a go because it's really a unique sort of FPS experience, like with all the cool stuff you can do. 4 classes to play from. You got like a stealthy guy. You've got like a magic person. You've got a beastmaster, which can use like obviously like different animals and stuff to help them. And you've got
Beastmastery.
Beastmastering, mate. Do you know what I mean? Your favourite.
Yeah.
Um,
God, any World of
and
Warcraft. Well, people who don't play World of Warcraft, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Beastmastering. Yeah. And you've got like a turret guy who's got like a big like mecha suit. That's the one I play. But so it's like replayability, one of the key things we talk about with a great game.
Yeah.
Mechanics are great.
So it's
Visuals are
purely
good.
offline.
No, so you can play co-op.
Okay, so
You
but
can
there
play
isn't like a
co-op, I think.
multiplayer kind of.
There's not like a player versus player. No.
Yeah.
No. But man, like it's such fun, and I just keep going back to it when I need that like FPS fix, when I just feel like, blowing up people in a really awesome way. So yeah, that is my game you definitely should play.
It feels like that's been out ages, years.
Yeah, it has. It has.
But wait. Oh, did it like only come out on PC?
You might be right.
Because I looked on Steam
right.
and it was like 50 quid, and it was like 2020.
So it came out 2020. Yeah. Yeah. You. I think it did get delayed release on console most likely.
On PC. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But still, definitely worth playing. I mean, it's got a unique art style as well.
Yeah, that's definitely one
It's like
thing I
that
have noticed.
comic book strip style sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. A bit like kind of Telltale-y.
Exactly,
Yeah.
just like Telltale. Yeah. They've actually got a Telltale series, I think, Borderlands.
Yeah, I seem to remember that. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah,
That's
definitely give it a go.
Oh, it's quite a popular one, isn't it? I think, even though I've never
Yeah,
played
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a big series. I mean, obviously 3 games now, all did
Surely falls on the way.
Surely falls on the way. Yeah, 100%. I know I'll be getting that.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you, my friend,
My
for that suggestion. Hopefully, you guys, any of you listening, who haven't played Borderlands, give that a try.
If you have, let us know what you think.
Yeah. And now we are going to round off the podcast by talking about what we have been playing over this last week or two. Shall I go first? Give you a chance to get a drink.
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
So I'm still playing The Witcher 3. Obviously, for those of you who listened to the last episode, will know that I just started it really, because I played The Witcher 2 before that. Now, obviously, a fair bit into the game now. Getting a little bit closer.
How far are you through it?
Oh, I've played probably between. It might be about 50 hours worth now in this playthrough, but obviously in The Witcher 3, that's like
nothing. Yeah.
Not loads, no. Particularly when you got the 2 DLCs as well. I'm still not onto the DLCs yet. Still in the main storyline. Probably 2/3 of the way through the main game.
So you've taken a good chunk out of it.
Yeah. The thing is with this one though is that what the playthrough this time is. This is going to be my longest playthrough of The Witcher ever. Because I'm just doing a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I always, whenever I come back to these games, whether it be like Skyrim, The Witcher, Mass Effect, like Assassin's Creed, anything like that, I'll always find that I've always missed tons of stuff. Which is actually good because when you come for the next playthrough and then the playthrough after that or what have you, obviously there's always fresh new content that you haven't experienced. So yeah, there's that. So obviously this one's taken a lot longer, this playthrough. And also I've got the impact of The Witcher 2 because obviously, as I said, I played The Witcher 2 first. The decisions you make in that will impact certain storylines.
Which is obviously really cool.
It's brilliant
to see, right?
It's fantastic, yeah. But obviously, this is something I'd never played The Witcher 2 until a few weeks ago, so I didn't have any of that. And all these things that I'm experiencing now from decisions I made in Witcher 2, I didn't experience in my previous 2 playthroughs of The Witcher 3. So that's been really, really cool. Really good. and it's just kind of brought the game on even more. Again, just makes it feel like a new, fresh game. So that's really cool. I will say, I am starting to notice some issues, yeah, like technically, with the game engine and stuff.
Okay, tell me.
Things like with the combat, for instance, particularly with like the fist fights. Sometimes some quest lines you have like fist fights with people and stuff. Little bit of an issue, just a little bit limited and stuff. Things like when you're riding a horse, it gets stuck quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
And when you like get on the horse, I'm smashing A to like go into sprint mode immediately. It's like locked into a walk for a couple of seconds before. Just some minor things, but I am
Yeah.
noticing them because I
But
remember
over
like
time they bug you, don't they? I think?
yeah, exactly. Particularly when obviously you're on like it's my third playthrough now, so like yeah, because it's always something people have always been like, they need to switch game engine, blah blah blah. Like I remember that when their announcement came out that they were switching to Unreal Engine 5 for the new Witcher games. I was like, well, that's weird. Why have they done that? Because like the Red Engine was good, but now I'm starting to notice. Yeah, I can see why you've made this change.
Yeah.
Not terrible enemies, just a couple of little hiccups here and there. So I'm noticing that. But on the whole, yeah, obviously, just quality. And yeah, buzzing to be playing it again. This is like I say, this is what's taken up my gaming experience at the moment. And I won't be able to start Hogwarts Legacy until I've finished this one. So I need to get on with it. That's for sure. But yeah, The Witcher 3.
So you're still loving it, yeah.
Yeah. Even more so. What about you, mate? What have you been up to?
So, I have actually revisited the Walking Dead Telltale game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Based on, I'm guessing, our previous podcast episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. It just reminded me about how good that game was.
Yeah.
And so I've got two.
Yep.
And on the whole, I've been loving it. Obviously, it's one of those games, great narrative, great characters that you like invested in, make meaningful choices. That's great. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Couple of little gripes though.
Go on in.
So one thing is that some of the characters I just feel are destined to die.
Yeah.
And you get opportunities to save them. Like this one character, I could have easily left her, and I like spent so much effort like saving her and like really going out of my way to save her. I saved her. Literally next scene, she clogs it. Sorry, excuse my language, but I'm just like, for the frustration, man. Because I spent so much time, and in the back of my mind, I was like, this, she's gonna die. Like, she's still gonna die, isn't she? Literally next scene, I'm like, why did I go through all that work? And it does. It
Which
sort of
game was
undermines.
that? 1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
And
I
it just
can't remember. I can't remember that now.
It undermines that element of choice.
Yeah.
Because it's like, did I actually have a choice, or was that going to happen anyway?
You brought up a great point. There was a thing, and I think I was kind of critical about them with this as well. And people were saying it. Do you think there is the illusion of choice rather than actual choice?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like they've already decided the party you're going to go, you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
At the start of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And it's just like how you get there. So, is there an illusion of choice? Kind of. You still get to, dictate how you tell that story, but the story is set in stone.
Yeah.
So the start and end points are already decided, and they're set. You can't change those.
Yeah.
You can change how you get
Just
there,
how
but
you
it's
get there,
still, it's still going to be, it's still a set narrative. So yeah, that's a little bit like frustrating and it rubbed me up the wrong way a little bit.
Have you finished number 2 then? Nah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there is a
Actually,
third one, isn't there?
I've started the third one. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So how are you finding that?
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Not as strong as probably. I think one was definitely the strongest.
Oh yeah,
Um, it's sort of difficult to pick up from there. But another thing as well is like I feel like I could be playing more of the game. A lot of the time, it's just like watching people walk around and talk. And I feel like, well, you could have given me the opportunity to explore this place myself
yeah.
and choose to talk to people if I wanted, but you just essentially watching a movie.
Cutscenes, yeah.
Quite a lot of points, yeah. Which is part of the great thing, but it's got to be mixed in with that choice and that gameplay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that and the sort of semi-illusion of choice has been winding me up a little bit,
Yeah, getting to
but it is a great story, and it's still a great experience. And I love the Walking Dead sort of world.
Oh, you big into
apocalyptic
that, yeah.
zombies. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you watched the
100%, mate.
series?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I have. I haven't finished it
Oh, okay.
because I think they've just released some new episodes, but like I've watched all the series up to the new episode.
I don't want to watch it because I know who cops it.
Indeed.
Well,
indeed.
I don't want to say, but my
Yeah,
favorite character.
let's not spoil it for
yeah.
people. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It did.
I've seen his death scene, so it is stopped me watching it now.
Indeed.
So yeah. Can you see yourself after this moving on to any other Telltale games like The Wolf Among Us? Obviously, we spoke about.
Yeah. So Wolf Among Us, definitely can see it. Things like the Batman. No, I think the series. Yeah, it's just like I feel like it's got to be something a bit different. Like I know what Batman. Is if I wanted to play a Batman game, I'd sort of play Arkham Knight or something. Yeah.
See, I think it's better. I prefer playing it to the Arkham Knight games because of the choice and the different storyline.
Yeah. No, I get that. I don't know. It doesn't really appeal to me.
That's fair enough.
Wolf Among Us, I'd definitely play. I think.
I mean, obviously that's
like
their own IP, isn't it? So that's a little bit different, isn't it? Like, yeah, they did the Game of Thrones one.
Game of Thrones, I might do.
I didn't. I weren't over mad on it.
No.
Yeah, you might think differently. I wasn't over mad.
I'll have a look.
That was another one that, as you were saying, like the illusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a bit where you can like. I'm trying to say too much to spoil things for people. Your character is like, let's say he's kind of like a hostage, and you can either defy your hostage taker, always answer back, always like put it on him and stuff, or you can just submit to him. And regardless of whichever one you do, the outcome will be the same.
Yeah, literally.
Do you know? So like,
just like, why am I playing?
Yeah.
What am I actually doing?
Yeah. So there was a bit of that.
100%.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one though.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still well worth playing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like we've been a little bit negative, but we don't want to put people off though. We should at least try the games.
I love it. Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Do not get me wrong. I've been loving playing them, but these sort of little gripes, I can't, sweep under the rug. I've got to, get off my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely well worth playing.
Right. With that being said, that's another episode wrapped up nicely.
I think so. Hope you've enjoyed.
Yes, we certainly do. Thank you so much to those of you who have made it through to the end. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully, we haven't put you off so that you won't come back for the next episode. And if you haven't done so already, go and check out any of the previous episodes. We've got some absolute bangers in there. Oh, yes, we do. And we think you guys will really enjoy it. So thanks a lot. Go and check them out. Really do appreciate it. Make sure, as we said at the start of the episode, to rate and review the podcast if you are listening to it on any podcasting apps. Best way to help out the podcast, other than listening to it, obviously. And we really will appreciate it. If you're watching the video version, drop a like on the video. And also check out the links to the podcasting apps that you will find in the description. Give us a follow on Twitter, the AshBros Gaming Podcast. You should find us. That's AshBros Podcast, I do believe, at AshBros Podcast. And check out our website, www.ashbrospodcast.com, for links to all of your regular podcasting apps. With that being said, I'm going to round it off to my co-host to finish up the episode for us. Over to you, Bacario.
Thank you, Brommer. Thank you very much for watching. Get involved in the conversation. We want to hear what you got to say. And we'll see you next time.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.